What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel here from the GeekSpeakNation channel, and I'm here to bring you my review of Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. So, Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. How did I end up seeing this film? I was hanging out with my friends and we were like, Captain Underpants is in theaters, do you want to go see it? Yeah, who wants to see Captain Underpants? Actually, yeah, let's go check it out. And we did, and it's a good movie. It is surprisingly a really good movie. I was completely blown away. I remember reading the original Captain Underpants books that these are based off by Dave Pilkey. I just think they were really fun and satirical, and they were easy to relate to as kids, but it's one of those properties that as you get older, you take a lot out of it once you get older, and as an adult, you have a completely different view on it, but it enriches it even more. So going into this film, I didn't know what to expect. But it does hold up that same spirit, I can say, of the original books, and it is something to behold. I think out of all the elements that came together to make this film, I didn't expect to enjoy it. I think the director, David Soren, has had nothing really notable in the works of his filmography besides a movie that he did called Turbo, which I never saw. I remember the trailers for it, but he directed that. I never saw it, but he's working again, and he was doing this film, which is his only other noticeable work. And then you have the writer, Nicholas Stoller, who's written some films that I've rather enjoyed, like 5-Year Engagement, Yes Man, Fun with Dick and Jane, but he's written some films that I've absolutely hated or really do not enjoy, like Neighbors 2, amongst other things. So that was really hit or miss for me. So those two coming together and leading a project of Captain Underpants, I didn't have high hopes, but this movie blew me away and it knocked it out of the park for me. So it tells a story about two friends, George and Harold, who grow up as friends in kindergarten, as George will pronounce it, and they make comic books together, and they go to a school led by an evil dictator-style principal who wants to take the fun out of school, and also definitely wants to split them apart during classes. And of course there's this nefarious villain who comes in, voiced by Nick Kroll, who does an excellent job in that role. The two leads are George, played by Kevin Hart, and Harold, who is played by Thomas Middleditch from Silicon Valley, which is a show I watched a few episodes of, and it's really good, and I don't know why I haven't started watching that show yet. But with that being said, the voice cast for this is incredible, along with the writing and the directing. I think every single element of this film comes together to make something that's extremely enjoyable. I think the voice acting is really great, and they handle the dialogue perfectly. I think the dialogue written and the story written is so fun in the way it plays off tropes, in the way of superhero movie genre and animated film genre, and they come together and they make something that's almost like Deadpool for kids, basically, and that sensibility of being so self-aware and being able to break that fourth wall and being so satirical and being able to play off different elements, but at the same time the characters never felt like they were saying things or doing things that were way too adult for them or way too much for them to comprehend. Everything they did just felt right at home, and it felt to fit right into the story. And it is a story that is crazy and bombastic, but slightly unpredictable in a lot of ways, and has a lot of great themes and a lot of heart, and it's just something I really enjoyed throughout. And the direction by David is just something really to behold, the way you constantly feel like you're going along with something. Every transition into every single scene is unique, and you never feel like there's a dull moment. You always feel like the story's unfolding. It's like a comic book, honestly, in that sensibility, that every time you look at a new frame, something is happening with the story. It is constantly progressing. There's never a dull moment, and I love that about it. It kept going and unfolding and had so many different layers and just had so much humor and so much joy to be had. I just think this is a really great animated feature that kids and adults can both really, really enjoy. So I think they knocked it out of the park with this. I loved it the whole entire time. I think the animation style that DreamWorks went with for this was incredible. The animation style was so fresh and unique, and just hilarious the way they played with the way just hair pieces moved and different elements like that. I think the animation team really knocked this out of the park and did some very unique things that are almost comic book-esque and almost hand-drawn-esque with the way certain things come out, and it reminds you of like old Disney cartoons like Steamboat Willie. I think that's what it was called, but Steamboat Mickey, sorry. But it's just things like that is that what it reminds me of, and I just think it's such a great style, and it just really hooks you in, and you're on the ride the entire time, and I love that about it. I'd probably say my only gripe that I have about the film is that when it comes to the emotional beats, I think there's one critical emotional moment towards the third act, of course, as most emotional moments are, and there are emotional beats throughout that are well done and well crafted and captures the crisis of emotion that you face at a young age, and everyone being together and just being like, oh, we're young and everything feels like the end of the world even though it's not. I love that aspect, but I feel like when it came time for our two main characters to face the consequences of their actions and the scenarios that they got themselves into, I just felt like when it came to really driving home a message or really what this film wanted to say about maybe bullying or maybe about teasing other people and acceptance of oneself, I feel like they missed the mark in that sense. I really feel like they missed the mark of what message they were trying to go for, which was obvious what they were building up towards. Didn't pay off because instead they decided to go with a joke or a gag instead of a emotional moment, that really could have sold home this film and really escalated it to a level to a really great, if not one of the greatest animated films, if they were really able to drive home that emotional core and seal the deal for this film. But either way, guys, I had a really enjoyable time with Captain Underpants. I think, God, that is such a strange sentence to say, but I really did have a great time, and you can go into this film, I recommend, like I did, and not know anything, and just be thrown and captivated into this world with no prior knowledge. I really enjoyed this film. I hope you guys check it out. If you have seen it, let me know what you think about it. And with that, guys, I am giving Captain Underpants, the first epic movie, an 8 out of 10. This was a really, really solid, well-written, well-made, well-directed, well-voice-acted film. Guys, they worked their butts off, and I really think they made an enjoyable, short, sweet, to the point, and poignant film. That concludes my thoughts on Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. Let me know what you think about it in the comments sections down below if you've seen it, or if you want to see it, you were hesitant about it before, you saw my review, and you're kind of on the fence like, hey, I think I actually might go see this film. Guys, Captain Underpants, the first epic movie, is definitely worth your time, and you should definitely check it out. It's definitely going to probably make my top 10 summer films, honestly. Might be 10 or 9, depending on how things go. I mean, Dunkirk is coming out soon, things like that, and Spider-Man Homecoming. But either way, I still see this film standing up in my top 10 and might possibly even be in my top 10 by the end of the year. I think this is a really smart and really different, unique film that's really worth watching. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you liked my review, go down there and hit that like button. And if you're new here, maybe subscribe, especially if you want to see more content like this and check out some other content that we got going on, and that includes those of you who already are subscribed. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I've been Daniel, and don't forget to get geeky.